Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, February 28th. Oh, last day of the month, 2023. For Barron County Sheriff Chris... What?
It's not a leap year.
Oh, yeah, when was the... you know what? That's a whole thing. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business has provided quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. So give Brian a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Reminder, we are streaming today's live show via DrydenWire's Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and on Twitter. So however you are watching, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
Great morning. It's not icy out. So...
Yeah, that's nice. That was quite a since our last week. Jeepers creepers.
Yeah, we had snow, ice. We've had it all, and yesterday was a scary morning on the roads. If you weren't on a main road, it was very scary out there. We had to get some people out of the ditch on some side roads, and it could have been deadly, and it was in Polk County, as we all have seen on DrydenWire. They had a fatality, and it was very dangerous. I'm glad everybody shut down and did what they were supposed to do, stayed home if they didn't have to. Obviously, I know some people have to go to work. I mean, the county was open. We had court. But you had to just go slow till you got to a main road, and then you could pick up your speed. So,
did I see that in Barron, I think it was yesterday, that the Barron County Health and Human Services, I think, even were closed yesterday?
No, we closed. They canceled the meeting.
Oh, it was a meeting. That's what I saw on
the
meeting. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Sharon. And
but the sun is out. The sun is rising.
How do you say that name? Hey, how do you? That is an awesome name. I just got to figure out how to pronounce it. So I apologize.
Maybe she'll sound it out for us.
Miss Long Henry. Yeah, right. Sound it out. Sound it out. Oh, he's on top of it.
More snow tonight. Yeah, you're funny, Dirk.
Frick. No, I don't think he's kidding.
I know he's not.
Oh, Dirk.
How come I'm not seeing those? Oh, there. It's. How come I only see half of the messages on my little side?
I don't know. There should be 4 comments there.
No, I only have 2.
CLY. Well, that doesn't help. Is it Cly? Is that how you pronounce? I'm sorry. All right. I feel badly that I don't know how to pronounce somebody's name.
Yeah, I didn't get Dirk's first one, but I got his last one. It's weird.
I don't know. You know what? Hey, you're crystal clear and your audio is great. So it is Cly. Okay.
I want to find it. See? Yes, she said yes. Cly. So
yeah, so we're kind of like dragging this out right now because we put up yesterday that we have like 2 things to talk about, which is the election results from last week. We want to go over,
and then no one voted.
That's a whole other thing. And then an article that we put up, I think yesterday, it was Barron County, and that's it. So we've got like 12 minutes of conversation, 12 minutes of stuff. So we were gonna have like a half an hour of nothing to talk about.
That's
so
right.
Please, someone let us know. Give us a topic. So you don't have to ask a question. Just like pick any random topic
that I want your opinion on that you don't even know I'm going to ask. But
we'll get to that in a little bit. All right.
Well,
we already skipped over some of the stuff. So how was your weekend?
Good. Didn't do much. No hockey this weekend. Next weekend is their last weekend. Maybe if they can win, they continue on. And so hockey might be wrapping up for a little bit here, but no, nothing real major all weekend. It was a nice, quiet weekend.
That's nice, and no press releases. So that's good. With all the snow,
yeah,
it's a good week.
I mean, there was none. It was a good Friday, good Saturday, and a good Sunday. I mean, it was great. So,
well, I also had a relaxing weekend. I had a gout flare up in my right knee, so I was on either in bed or on the sofa for almost 3 straight days. It was terrible. Just because, well, not just the pain, but it was wholly boring. So I played a lot of video games. I figured I bought and I played and I beat already that Hogwarts Legacy game on PS5. And now just last night, well, this morning at 1 this morning, I downloaded the PGA Tour 2K23 or something. The golf thing, because the dad's gonna get it. He has a PS5 now. You should totally get it too, so then we can play golf together on our PS5s. I can't wait. So I just downloaded it last night, and I played a little bit this morning, and It's not the greatest, but if you like golf, it's the best out there, and it's pretty fun.
I like golf, so I want to get a golf game, so I'll get that. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I'm trying to stretch everything out. So tell me why you actually want to get a golf game. All right, so we want to get through. Shout outs. Always. This is something new we started at the beginning of the year. Shout outs. Do you have any shout outs for today's show?
I don't have any personally, but I do want to shout out to all. It's the end of the winter sports season across high schools, and basketball coaches, hockey coaches, wrestling, gymnastics. There's another sport I'm missing in there, but I just want to thank all of our coaches out there. I think, it's they do a pretty amazing job. They don't get paid a lot of money. They spend a lot of time with our kids. They're developing our youth for the future. They're developing our leaders. And I just want to give a shout out to all of the coaches and their assistant coaches and the volunteer coaches, because a lot of people do it because they love it. They don't get paid by the school district. It's championship season. It's hockey week. The Richmond hockey team is going down the state. The Menominee hockey team is going down the state. I'm not sure how that happened, but they did. New Richmond is probably going to win it, which is cool. We won it last year. Obviously, it's the year of memories for my family and my son and winning state hockey last year. But shout out to all the coaches out there that do an unbelievable job for our kids. They coach losing teams, they coach winning teams, and they keep the same momentum. And it's pretty awesome out there that we have some coaches from the small schools to the big schools. From the Shell Lakes to the Rice Lakes, they're awesome. And I just don't think they get enough credit sometimes. We're very critical of them sometimes. As a parent, we are. As a fan,
are we talking about coaches or refs now?
Both. I don't
probably give a shout out to refs next week.
Next week, shout out to refs. But I just think, I went to a couple games this weekend. I went to a girls' game and a boys' game, and playoffs, and the winning team and the losing team, and when you lose in playoffs, and these seniors that are, done with high school now and done with athletics, it's pretty special what these coaches do for our kids. So just wanted to give a shout out.
I love it. And my shout out this week is also not a specific person, and it's kind of a random thing because I was laid up and had a lot to think about because I had nothing else to do this weekend. I want to give a shout out to husbands that handle their business. For some reason, I started thinking this weekend like the guys that I know that I'm friends with. Why is there like a commonality? And I realized I respect all of them as husbands, and most of them are also fathers, and I respect them as fathers. And I don't know what happened. I don't blame the women for like enabling or anything like that, but somehow like the bar for men or husbands is just in society is just really keeps getting lower and lower. And I kind of blame more of that on men, where we have to hold each other accountable. But anyway, I want to give a shout out to the men that handle their business. I'm not talking about, I don't cheat on my wife and I don't hit her. It's like, I kind of feel like those are like standards. I mean, you exist. Right. I don't yell and swear at her. Well, okay, that's, again, that's kind of a prerequisite almost. But the ones that really do, because I've found that all the people that I am close to as men, yourself included, that it really starts with I respect them as not just human beings, but as husbands. They treat their wives well. And ladies, if you have a man in your life, it's a husband or maybe a boyfriend that treats you like the queen that you are, give him a shout out. Put it in the comments if you have a man like that in your life, because no kidding, we need to hold each other up. I'm a big believer in rewarding good behaviors, not punishing bad ones. When there's good husbands out there that truly put their wives first, and if the wife put the husband first, that's typically, a great relationship. But I'm just saying, I look around, and it seems like there's fewer and fewer. And I don't know why. I really just kind of blame society. We'll just blame Facebook or something. But no kidding. Shout out to the OGs, to the legit husbands.
So basically, we're giving a shout out to ourselves because our wives are so lucky.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much. Trisha did something dumb, so yeah, that's why I'm bringing this up. There's no cryptic reason behind this at all. It was just, that was my shout out for the week. All right, so we need to get to an article, standoff situation of Cumberland results in criminal convictions, and as well as our election predictions sure to go wrong last week. I even have some graphics to put up here. We'll get to all that next, but first, a message from Spooner Health. We'll be back in 15 seconds.
Satisfaction satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit spoonerhealth.com.
All right, there we go. So we had a press release. No.
Yes.
An article yesterday. I'm sorry, it's underneath press releases and articles. We had an article yesterday, it was an insider article. The headline was Standoff Situation in Cumberland Results in Criminal Convictions. The court ordered Baldwin, you know what, I don't have his first name, to serve an imposed and stayed sentence with 3 years of probation. If probation should be revoked, Baldwin will receive 18 months of initial confinement, followed by 24 months of extended supervision. If you would kind of catch people up on what that was about, I believe that was a Cumberland Police Department lead agency case, but obviously the sheriff's office was involved with that as well. Catch people up on what that was about, and what were your thoughts about the result?
Well, this is his second time around for a SWAT call out. And so this one was a knife, didn't involve a gun. It was a standoff about 3 hours in the cold. It was really cold that night, windy. Ultimately, we used gas, got him out. No one was injured on either side. Good guys are the bad guys, and I don't like the sentence at all. So I guess now is my time to shine, and I don't like it. I don't think this is his second time around. So I don't like an imposed and stayed sentence. Maybe probation is going to revoke him. I have no idea what the other outcome of probation is. You don't see the back end of this. I mean, that's his sentence. Now, probation can do something else to him. They can keep him in jail. In fact, I still think he is, so he may get revoked on that. But second time around on a SWAT call out, I'm not okay with it. Nothing I can do about it, but I'm not okay with it.
All right, I'm going to it right now. In conditions of jeepers. I need glasses. Yeah. Conditions of probation. The phone's getting further and further away when I'm reading. Conditions of probation will require Baldwin to maintain absolute sobriety and complete any and all evaluations, counseling, treatment, and follow-up recommended by his probation agent. So which part of that, it sounds like it's the fact that it's the second time around. And you and I have discussed this on multiple different topics. First offense, OWI, for example, or first offense if marijuana still is, a crime, but diversion programs or trying to help. I totally get it. Mm-hmm. Is that the biggest hang up here? When you add the fact that it's the second time SWAT's been called out, then you add that with the probation. Because that's what people see. I mean, there was a sentence, just to be clear, there was a sentence.
Yep.
So he was actually sentenced to whatever that was, 3 years of probation. If probation should be revoked, he'd get 18 months of initial confinement, so a year and a half. That would be the max he could do if he doesn't behave over the next few years. Which part is that? Is it a combination of everything? So how about this? If this was the first offense in same scenario, would you be okay with it?
I think this is what he got for his first offense. It was a similar type sentence for his first offense. That's my problem with the whole system. It's your first offense is fine. It's just like bonds. I mean, we've talked about bonds on this. If you get out on a signature bond, the next time you go to jail and get out, you shouldn't be a signature bond. So it should be a cash bond. And then if you violate that small cash bond, then you should get another cash bond. And it should keep going up. It can't, you can't.
Well, it certainly can't go down, but it can't stay the same either.
Right. It shouldn't stay. I mean, in some cases, it can stay the same. I'm okay with it. We've said it on the show. Sometimes it can stay the same. This was a little bit more serious. A 3-hour SWAT. That cost the taxpayers of Barron County thousands of dollars, which he doesn't have to pay back because we can't send a bill for that. That's another thing I think that's wrong with the system. It should be, if he wants this good a deal, then he should pay the taxpayer back for that bill.
Well, I don't think that would fly. That would be, you can buy your way out of.
Right. I mean, I agree.
But I like the idea of it, though. Like, seriously, right. There needs to be.
Somehow
okay,
we've
come on.
got to incorporate that so it shouldn't cost the taxpayers money.
Yeah.
For this guy doing what he did. Normally, it does. We don't have that much expense into these cases. We do in these SWAT call-outs. They cost thousands of dollars to have 18 guys for multiple hours. I mean, then you got to come back to the office. You got to debrief. You got to, we shot. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just I don't like it. Not happy with it. No one asked me my opinion beforehand. They don't ask me my opinion beforehand.
Maybe they should.
No, they probably shouldn't. So,
probably not.
But on a second offense, it shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be. That's all I'll say. So
right.
I mean, I don't know much. I don't like it. Either do you, but it's the way it is, and I'm not happy with everything. But most of the time, they get it right. So I'm not dinging on the justice system, but it can be a little bit tougher, and it will. I think bail reform will change our system, and that's on April 4th. We need to keep talking about that because I think that's an important thing on the election that people is being overshadowed by the Supreme Court. So,
yeah, and I think there's two things. I can't remember the second thing.
There's actually 3 questions on there, I think.
There's 3 now.
Yeah, they're all similar. One was, do you think you should work to get benefits or have to work to get benefits? And then there's 2 on, should it be cash bail? Should the judge have more than, something like that on cash
And I think
bail.
you and I, we've talked about that briefly, and we'll talk about that when we get closer to the election. That's April 4th. That's jeepers, 5 weeks away.
30 days away.
5 weeks from today, right?
Yeah, no, tomorrow. Yeah, today. Yeah. 5 weeks.
So we'll talk about that when it gets a little bit closer, but just kind of a quick hit on that. You and I have talked about that a little bit. We're both, I think where we left off, we're both kind of in favor. I can't remember exactly what the question is going to be, or actually I don't think I've ever read what the actual question is going to be. But it is about allowing the judges to consider a lot more things when it comes to cash bonds.
Right.
And I think we're both in favor of that. Because why not?
Both in favor of that. We got to give the judge a little bit more meat behind their gavel.
Some more tools in the proverbial toolbox.
There you go. There we got it.
So you got it. Heather says Rice Lake had a great. What's NASP?
It's an archery tournament. They have a great archery program. They had a huge tournament at the Rice Lake School District this weekend. The kids did great. I saw there's a whole bunch of people there. So.
Senator Quinn says Wisconsin is the only state that has such a strict criteria when setting bail. Yep. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's going to go on like PolitiFact. They're going to fact check that one. I mean, I love that. Liar, pants on fire. I love that.
He knows what he's talking about.
He was just on the show last Thursday. It was so much fun. Yeah. It was great. Well, speaking of elections, and his logo is Dan Kelly. Right. So we had predicted last week for the elections that it was going to be number 1, Janet. We'll say Judge Janet because we still don't know how to pronounce her last name. Then we had said it was going to be a toss-up between Justice Kelly, Dan Kelly, and Judge Jennifer Dorow, but we knew that Everett Mitchell. So we knew 1 and 4. That was we knew that one. Right. But the one in the middle, I think we had said I think we landed with Judge Dorow second, Dan Kelly third, but it's going to be super close. And I think it was just due to the fact of her name recognition. And the only way that and the only way that we thought that Justice Kelly, who's a former justice, so we still refer to as Justice Kelly, that he would win is if there were the people, the conservative voters or Republican voters looked at his record and said, I liked everything he did. Why would I vote for somebody else? If they actually take that and go, I like Jennifer Dorow, that's great, but I know what I got with him and I liked it, so that seems to be the logical choice. And it looks like that worked because now these are the numbers. I forgot to get them early this morning, the 100% numbers. These were based on 95% of the votes in, so the numbers really shouldn't change. But Janet did get first at 46, I'll just say 46%. Dan Kelly had 24. Jennifer Dorow had 22, and again, I'm rounding these. Right. So that was close. And, of course, Judge Everett Mitchell had 7.5. So we were close.
Yeah. We were closer. I thought she'd win on name recognition, but, again, people look at, which is what they should do, not just name recognition. They should look at the record and say, yeah.
Well, like we talked last week, that YouTube video was the most viewed YouTube video we've ever had. But all the comments, when I looked through them, and I think I touched on that last week, that it was, I live in California, but I vote for you. And I live in Florida, otherwise I'd vote for you. And that's really weird. Like, all these people are supporting you, but they don't live in the county or in the state. So I didn't know if that was going to be like a telling sign how that was going to end up. So I have the counties here. So we have 6 counties in our area: Barron, Burnett, Polk, Rusk, Sawyer, and Washburn that we cover. Now, again, these are not official numbers, and these are still from the post I put up at like 1 a.m. on Wednesday morning with 95%. So this isn't 100% in, so these numbers may change. But out of the 6 counties in that I just named, how many do you think? First, do you think Jennifer Dora won any of them?
I don't know the answer to that. I say yes. She won. She had to have won one of them.
Okay, and then Judge Janet, and Dan Kelly. Everett, by the way, didn't even show up in the thing. It was so far down. Between the let's say Democrat, liberal Judge Janet and the conservative Dan Kelly, how many counties do you think voted? How many did Janet win, and how many did Dan win?
I think I would guess Janet only won one.
All right, so here's Barron. Now, again, it says right there, 95% of votes in. These numbers will change, and I'm sure they have. But this just gives us a basic idea. Dan Kelly won Barron.
Right.
So Janet got second. I don't know if I'm surprised by that. Are you? You live in Barron.
No, I'm not surprised by that. No,
Okay.
that's perfect. I mean,
All
that's
right.
what it was.
Burnett, just as Kelly. And again, 95% of votes in, so I'm sure there's been more, but this is just a barometer here. But Jennifer Dora didn't win that one. She came in third. What was Barron when she came third as well?
Yeah.
Polk County, also Dan Kelly.
Real close.
And,
I mean, they're within 400 votes every time.
Yeah, but if you look at Jennifer Dora, that's so interesting. Yeah. So, and then Rusk, Dan Kelly again. Look at Jennifer Dora. It's just holy cow. And then we finally get to, hey, there's Janet won that county. As of, these numbers from last Tuesday or Wednesday morning. And then last one is Washburn. And again, so Judge Janet won 1 out of the 6 counties. Yeah. Unless that last 5% of votes had changed something. What's that?
She didn't even get close.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Jennifer Dora did absolutely terrible in these 6 counties. I mean, it was a blowout there.
Right. And I only saw Dan Kelly's signs. Not signs don't vote. You can't base elections on signs, but
you do.
But you do. You're right. So there was only Dan Kelly signs in any of the counties that I drive through, and there wasn't a sign for any of the other people, I don't think. So I think that shows that the North has some pull, but you look at the election results and it's it doesn't seem like our votes actually count when it comes to a national or statewide election.
Well, that's interesting,
but
they do. But here's the thing: no kidding. Northern Wisconsin carried Dan. So if you've ever thought that our votes really don't count, BS on this one. I remember watching the election votes come in, and Jennifer Dora was up by, I was like 28 to 20. It was by a significant margin, but these were, of course, they're going to start counting the big counties, right? The WOW counties and the down southern. And she was winning, and then all of a sudden, I'm looking at all the counties that haven't reported yet, and almost all of them were in northern Wisconsin, including northwest Wisconsin. And all of a sudden, when those started coming in, they started getting closer and closer. And it was like around, 9 o'clock. And Drusha Ash goes, so who's going to win? I'm like, it looks like Jennifer in terms of the conservatives. By 9:30, and she was just heading to bed. I'm like, I'm not kidding. If this keeps going the way, and if you look at who hasn't reported yet, I'm not kidding. I think Dan's going to pull this off. I think I even, what? I did. Didn't I? Didn't I text you?
I think you did.
It was a little after 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9, and I said, I'll bet you $50 Dan's going to pull this one out.
I think I agreed because I just think she didn't have enough spread, and like you said, the votes in the North mattered.
They did in this one.
You make a good point.
They absolutely did. I think she only won like a couple counties, and they were down in southern Wisconsin. But yeah, I really do think actually in this case the rural votes actually made a huge difference. So yeah, so we'll talk more about that when we get the elections closer. So maybe in like 4 weeks,
5 weeks from today, we have 5 weeks left.
Coming up so fast. And we'll get more information about, I'll get the exact questions that are going to be asked so we can kind of go through those. Maybe we'll see if Romaine will jump on sometime and kind of walk us through what all that stuff means. And there you go. All right. So that's all I had. We tried to stretch it out as long as we can. We still got 20 minutes left. So now what?
So what do you think of the major league pitch count or time?
I watch a spring training game and I love it.
Yeah. So do I.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that it speeds up the game, but I don't like that it costs the on that spring training game, the bases were loaded and the guy didn't get in the box.
The game was over. I mean, them the rules. I mean,
right. Those
it'll
are
be
the
interesting
rules.
to see if they actually call that in a regular season game.
Right.
When they actually count.
I think
They're gonna.
It's no different than 6 players on the ice. I mean, if they make a bad change in hockey and there's 6 guys on the ice, it's a penalty. I mean, you didn't mean to, and the guy was going off, and he had no effect on the play. But it was interesting. I don't watch baseball. I like baseball. I like all sports, but I don't get into baseball like some people do. I mean, you're a big baseball guy.
I'm an all sports. Yeah, I like watching all
me
sports.
too, but I just can't watch a whole baseball game.
Honestly, it isn't because of the length of the game. And by the way, this is shortened by 23 minutes. I'm sure you saw it too, because you and I watch SportsCenter all the time. It's shortened the games from 3 hours and 1 minute. Now it's down to like 2 hours and something. And they've had like 6 games now that were just over like 2 hours and 15. Just 2. Yeah. Like that's how it should be. And one of the reporters on ESPN had said, "You understand? It's those old school people like, no, that's taking away 23 minutes of baseball." He's like, "No, it isn't. There's nothing happening during those 23 minutes in the whole game. It's them, just a batter standing out, adjusting his gloves, pitcher walking around. It's like, no, just throw the ball. Let's go." And that's what it's cutting out. So now there's for people who don't know, there's basically a pitch clock now. There's big numbers everywhere. They have to throw the pitch within, I think, 15 seconds.
And you have to be in the box within 8. They're ready to hit the ball.
Yeah. I mean, this is ridiculous. One pitch, a minute later, finally the second pitch. I can't. Like, I stopped watching it because of that. Right. So now I'm actually getting into it a little bit more because it just seems to be going so much faster.
Yeah. So.
And bigger bases. That's weird.
I didn't know. Yeah, that's right. I didn't know that. But
in spring training so far, 40% of stolen bases, or it's up. Stolen base attempts are up 40% because of that. Oh, really? And my favorite rule, the shift. They finally got rid of that. Oh, I hate the shift.
See, I think that's a defensive play. I don't think you should take that away.
That's stupid.
Well, but then hit the ball the other way.
Come on. Jeepers. You make $20 million.
I think they're going to lower the shot clock in college basketball next year, too, back to the NBA. I think they want to lower that, because it's like, what is it, 35 or 40 seconds in college, and it's 24 in the NBA or whatever. So
yeah, so they're going to lower it.
Lowering it. It's college basketball. It's March Madness coming up. It's going to be great.
Right.
I love college basketball.
Yeah, me too. So, well, yeah, I've been watching a little bit of it, and it seems like there is no actual. Yeah, so this is what happens, by the way, people. If you don't give us a topic to talk about, we're just going to talk about sports, I guess.
I wanted to get your opinion on I didn't ask you beforehand on the pitch count because some people like it, some people don't.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Like the purists, but I don't care about them. Seriously, back when I was a kid. Yeah, but nobody's watching it anymore, man. We got to make some changes.
Right. Yeah, I think it'll increase it, and their people are excited. So.
Yeah. So this week coming up, I think is like the tournaments for college basketball, right? All their conference tournaments. So then that means we'll be starting in a couple of weeks for the March Madness.
This weekend is the Duke North Carolina rivalry. It's the end of the regular season.
Is it a rivalry anymore? I mean, it still is, but what happened to those two teams? Oh, yeah, Coach K leaves it. I mean, are either even getting into the?
I think Duke's in. I think North Carolina's on the bubble.
All right. So. Hey, here's another thing. I'll bring up something that isn't sports related.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this. I found this yesterday. We're talking about. Anytime you want to get more viewership, just talk about marijuana.
Okay.
So this was that was an AP story, I think, from 2021. I didn't know this existed, so I want to ask you, because I'm assuming you know, but maybe you don't. It's in Oregon. Police in Oregon, again, this is from 2021. I'm sorry, so 2 years ago. Police in Oregon can no longer arrest someone for possession of small amounts of heroin, meth, LSD, oxycodone, and other drugs. I believe cocaine is in there as well. As a ballot measure that decriminalized them. Instead, those in possession would face a $100 fine or a health assessment that could lead to addiction counseling. Backers of the ballot, which Oregon voters passed by a wide margin, hailed it as a revolutionary move for the United States. Instead of facing arrest, those found by law enforcement with personal use amounts of drugs would face a civil citation like a traffic ticket and not a criminal action. Oregon voters also approved measures making the state the first to legalize the therapeutic use of psychedelic mushrooms. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
I didn't know we had a state that, it's not that it's legal. It
Right.
just decriminalizes the...
Small amounts.
There's no actual crime there. It's just a...
That's not a very amount. The amount is very small, but it's still,
kind of sets a precedent.
Yeah, it does. I don't like it. I don't think, again, medical marijuana, I think that's coming. I think that's fine. If a doctor prescribes it and the medical association approves it, that's great. But I don't think, I think let's start there. Let's see what happens there. And if people really need it to medicate and to take away pain or whatever it is, let's do it that way. Let's not go, let's do it in steps and let's see how it goes. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things, because Oregon has always been very progressive. They were the first, I think it was in the 70s or something. It was either legalizing personal use or maybe it was decriminalizing marijuana. They've always been on the forefront of that. Absolutely. And a lot of people talk about that slippery slope. And whether it's true or not, I don't know, but that certainly always comes up like, well, if we have only 15 rounds of ammo in a magazine and we say that's a law, well, then what next are they going to come after for guns? And pick any topic. That's the, the whole concept behind the slippery slope, that it's the what's next. So it'll be interesting. Now that I found that yesterday, I was just going through things. I want to see kind of where that is now, because I think there have been a lot of people who say that, well, if we start saying, okay, legalize marijuana, what's next? And like, that's stupid. We'd never legalize anything else or decriminalize. Well, apparently we have.
Yeah,
not
apparently.
legalized part, but that's so crazy. A little cocaine. Here's
I think
$100
Eau Claire, and I'll have to do some research. I think Eau Claire, like the possession of a small amount of marijuana is $1 fine. I know there was some, I don't know if it ever got passed, but that's what they were proposing.
I think it did.
It's a very small amount. I mean, it's a very small amount, but if you had that much, you can only be fined $1.
How does a city or a county, how do they do that? I just assume that there's superseding things.
City council passes it. It's no different than, they can make disorderly conduct, which is a ticket for getting into a bar fight. They can, some cities in Barron County have a $250 fine, some have a $500, and some have a $180 fine. So it depends on where you want to punch somebody in Barron County. It will cost you so much more money if you go here, here, here. So, yeah.
All right. That's weird.
Well, each city can set their fines. So
okay, so it's the fine stuff. Because I'm just thinking, like, right now, the big topic is going to be, with the Supreme Court race coming up, is going to be in Wisconsin, the abortion laws. And people would say that, we're still stuck with an 1849 archaic thing. Well, I think part of that was, or at least how it explained to me, that when the federal, government, Supreme Court, after whatever that was, 60s, 70s, the Roe, Wade, Dobbs, whatever that was, it superseded Wisconsin. So it's like, well, there's no point in doing anything because it doesn't matter what we say. The federal court said this, so we have to follow that. I assume that was kind of the same, but you're saying that wasn't a law? So if it's like just tickets and fines, then a city council can actually change what the Wisconsin law is?
They didn't make it illegal. They said it's just $1 fine. So it's they can set fines on them. It's not, they didn't make it legal.
Okay.
They just said it's $1 to fine you.
So you can adjust that's weird.
So it's a municipal citation. Now they can write a county citation. County cops we can't, if the city of Rice Lake, and I'll use that example, the city of Barron, because we're here. If the city of Barron wants to say marijuana is only $1 for this amount, if we catch somebody, if the sheriff's department catches somebody, they don't get $1 ticket. They get a regular ticket or get referred to the district attorney's office.
Wait, hold on. You're saying the sheriff's deputy in Barron County, or in the city of Barron.
Right.
But they're in the city of Barron.
Yep. If I stop you in the city of Barron, I don't have to follow that rule. That's a municipal court, municipal ticket. So I don't have to follow that $1 rule. If the city of Barron passed it, and they're not, but if they passed a $1 rule for urinating in public, we'll just use that. Get rid of the marijuana. They can charge you $1 for doing that. The county has one, it's $229 or whatever our ticket is. If I catch you, it's $229. If the city of Barron catches you, it's $1. So
the fact that you know about what amount that is makes me, want to follow up on that one. Just my journalist hat I'm putting on. How often are you writing these tickets? Where it's like, no, that's $229.75. I know that one.
I don't know.
How often is this happening?
I don't know that. We used to write that a lot though during festival season.
Oh, sure.
You know, there's not enough bathrooms and intoxicated people. And
you know where they do have a lot of bathrooms?
where?
At what is it? Music Fest? Oh shoot, Freedom Fest. Freedom Fest. That's right.
We haven't talked about that for a while.
Yeah.
They're doing some pretty cool things. They gave everybody from, the Birkebeiner was this weekend. It was a great, safe weekend for the Birkebeiner. But they said if you skied the Birke, you can put in this code and get a discounted ticket. I mean, they're really going to town on Freedom Fest. It's going to be awesome in July. So everybody go out and support, and all the money stays locally. It's a great thing. And volunteer, and now your organization, if you have a nonprofit organization, you want to make some money, you can go up there and volunteer, and they'll give you some of the money. It's kind of great.
Yeah, they're doing. I was talking to Amy Greenfield, I think like a week ago, and we're going to start doing some more stuff. They're going to be sending some more information. I can't give away a whole bunch because they're still kind of working on some details, but hopefully every month we're going to be able to talk about something on the show. Leading up to, at some point, we'll start doing some ticket giveaways as well.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I just had a notification on my Apple Calendar. First day of Women's History Month is. I didn't know March was Women's History Month. I didn't know that. I should study up.
You should.
I don't know that much about women's history. I don't know much about history, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Me either. So Dirk says it's going to snow tonight.
Okay.
2 to 5 inches.
Oh, what?
It's going to snow. Yeah, we're going to get some more snow tonight, tomorrow. The streets are kind of crunchy because some of the streets didn't get plowed. They got spent a lot of time sanding and salting yesterday. So I know there's some grooves in the freezing, but the weather looks great all week. Minus tomorrow night. It's going to be, 20 and 35 is the highs all week, it looked like. So we won't have to hear Dirk's snow report anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, I hopefully it's going to be nice enough today where it's going to get rid of any of that ice on the because we're getting 2 to 5 inches. We've talked about before. Sometimes you get 2 inches of snow, but if there's ice underneath, it's more dangerous than no ice underneath and like 7 inches of snow. So hopefully that's all going to be kind of gone before the 2 to 5 inches of snow tomorrow morning.
A lot of our roads, I call it, there's probably a more technical, I call it freeze dry, where all the water kind of goes away and it dried enough before it froze yesterday. There was not much ice down because it had melted and kind of evaporated. So there wasn't, because there was some standing water yesterday afternoon, and when it was pouring down rain in the middle of winter, it was pouring rain here, and there was a lot of standing water in some places. So
it was bizarre.
It was so, but no. What do you got going on this week? Anything?
Well, I think Thursday, that Stacia Cross and the Rice Lake Liaison, it's going to be our Thursday. We talked about before, I think we'll have 3 people on with me, so it'll be 4 of us.
Okay.
Talking about school liaison and truancy and that stuff. So, yeah, I don't really know. They're going to send me some information hopefully today so I can get that posted tomorrow morning because I don't even really know what we're talking about. I don't even know who the other 2 people are. I don't know their names. Like, could you please send some pictures, their names, and what we're talking about? Just like a couple sentences. That's all I need. Just give me a direction and I can go with it. I could talk about anything, but what exactly are we talking about?
As people know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's on Thursday. Tomorrow, Mandalorian. We're doing a lot of pop culture and entertainment talk today on the show. Mandalorian Season 3 comes out. Can't wait. I got caught up this weekend and went back and watched Season 2, so I'm all ready to go for Season 3, Episode 1 tomorrow on, what is that, Disney Plus, I think?
Disney Plus.
Yeah, and then my daughter's coming up this weekend on Sunday for her birthday. Her birthday's, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, so they're all coming up. I can see my grandkids.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be a very nice, relaxing weekend, hopefully, according to Dirk. It's going to be dry and mild in the mid-30s this weekend, so that's a great time because they live in Menominee, so they can travel. So that's what I have coming up. But how about you?
Perfect. We're going to Fond du Lac to watch some hockey, and we'll see how they do. So
Awesome. All right.
Other than that, a couple of meetings this week. Otherwise, we'll be good to go. So,
all right. Well, I'm surprised that nobody had like anything that they want us. That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
They're just tuning in to listen to you, Fitzy.
Did the Lakers make the playoffs without LeBron James?
The last I checked, I think like this season they were what 3-7 or 3. No,
They're half game out of 10th place.
They really need probably 14 games to win with 20 games, like 13, 14. They need to go like 13-6, 14-6, or 13-7. Can they get that many wins without LeBron? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. Not going to happen.
Some people are happy about that. Some people are probably sad.
Well, I love the Lakers because they're like the anti-hero. Like, I love to hate them, but I have no reason to actually hate them. I like their uniforms. It's a historic franchise. But LeBron James has always been that anti-hero as well. Like, I don't dislike LeBron James, but I like not liking him. Just because he's not Michael Jordan, right? Because, you and I grew up in that era. So, yeah, I like the Lakers, but I also love it when they lose. It's really bizarre. All right, man. We'll see you next week.
All right. You bet.
For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business, and Fitzy signing up, has provided quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Give Brian a call today. The number's on the screen, 715-520-2271. Fitzy and I will see you right back here next Tuesday. Until then, stay safe tonight and tomorrow. Thanks, Dirk, for your snow predictions sure to go wrong. That's what we should start calling. I'm just kidding. He's like the most accurate of everybody. Thanks everyone for commenting.
It sucks that he's accurate.
Yeah, I know.
3 to 5 inches. We're gonna get 3 to 5 inches.
I know it. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, and as always, have a blessed day.